working as hard as you can on your business is not that effective, right? You need to know what your biggest challenges are, what your biggest weaknesses are, so that when you are working hard in your business, you know where to improve and what you should and can be doing better.
Welcome to the Painter Growth Podcast, where we help you scale your painting company in record time. Join us as we explore sales, marketing, hiring, finances, leadership, and more, everything that you need to know to scale and grow your painting business. I hope you enjoy and subscribe.
What's up, everybody? Mike Hickman here, founder of PainterGrowth.com, and you're listening to another Painter Growth podcast. Now, this is not going to be a particularly long episode, but we're getting towards the end of the year, and the end of the year is a great time to do some reflection, to make some goals, and we'll talk about goal setting again on a different one, a different podcast episode. But this one in particular, I want to talk about reflection, and in particular, reflecting on your business in the 7 key areas. And those 7 areas that we've kind of identified are marketing, sales, production, your financial literacy, time management, business systems and processes, and then leadership and delegation. And so I want to just kind of break down all of those for you, and like what kind of like a low level business would look like to what a high level business would look like, right? And if you want, like, if you want to like skip this, I actually put together a quiz that will rate you, that you can take online, and it'll like give you a report on how healthy your business is based on these 7 key areas. So I'll put the link below in the description, but basically it's quiz.paintergrowth.com. So quiz.paintergrowth.com, and it'll take you to the assessment. It's really simple. It'll take you literally 3 minutes, and you're going to get a rating from 0 to 100 in marketing, sales, production, financial literacy, time management, business systems and processes, and then leadership and delegation. So if we start on the first one, right, as we reflect, we want to, the reason why we're doing this, before I get into the 7 specifics, is that working as hard as you can on your business is not that effective, right? You need to know what your biggest challenges are, what your biggest weaknesses are, so that when you are working hard in your business, you know where to improve and what you should and can be doing better. And also, when you know what your strengths and weaknesses are, you can know what you should delegate and what you should keep doing yourself, right? You should be doing things that you're really strong at, that you enjoy doing, and delegate the things that you're weaker at and don't enjoy doing, right? There is this one, let's say, false belief in business or misconception that you need to be good at everything as a business owner. And I would say that's not true. You need to be good enough at pretty much everything. Like, you need to be able to get by. But ultimately, once you get by on some of these tasks, like if you really hate bookkeeping, right? You don't like working, like, inputting things and doing these like financial, whatever, you can get by on it so that you understand kind of what's going, and then hire someone who's way better at it, who loves it, who'll be able to basically take that, department or area to the next level. So the first one is marketing. And we break each one of these down into 5 categories. So when you think about where you are in your business, if you're the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth. So a level 1 in marketing would be, I buy leads or get them from word of mouth. I rarely get enough leads, and I have no idea how to get them on demand. Number 2, I'm in a networking group or 2 and get leads that way. I can do more networking and get more leads typically. Level 3 is, I have some idea of how to get leads through marketing. We have multiple marketing systems going that bring in leads fairly consistently. Number 4, we get consistent leads from marketing systems. We are typically pretty flush with leads. I lead the charge. And then number 5, we get more leads than we can handle. My team deals with it all, and I am largely hands off, right? So if you can see the difference between the first one, which is I buy leads or get them from word of mouth, to we get more leads than we can handle. My team deals with it all, and I'm hands off, right? So that's like the difference between level 1 and level 5. And obviously, you want to work towards, being in that level 5. Part of the reason that I'm going to be doing this is so that you can self-identify what your weaknesses are. And if me just reading through these is just a little bit too much to kind of like, the questions are a little bit longer, it's a bit too much to internalize as you're, driving or painting or whatever, then yeah, just go to quiz.paintergrowth.com and you can do it right now for free. The second category is sales, right? And so in sales, again, we have 5 categories of increasing improvement in the sales skill. The first one, level 1 sales. I email or text the customer my price or quote when I get home or the next day. Level 2, I present my quote to the client at the time of the estimate, but I don't do any selling. I've heard of sales rate, but I don't track it. Level 3, I'm aware of some selling techniques and implement them from time to time. I ask for the job on the spot. I'm aware of what sales rate is, but don't track it very well. Number 4, I study selling frequently and use sales techniques at every sale. I know my numbers and I'm constantly selling at 40% or more. Number 5, we have a standardized sales process and my estimator does all of my estimates. My role is improving their skill. So again, going from not even presenting the price on the spot to having a sales rep, having standardized processes, and being completely removed from the sales process. So quite, a skill gap. And there's a lot of things that you need to learn and implement to be able to go from, level 1 to level 3 or level 4 to level 5. And it doesn't happen overnight, right? But identifying where you are and where you want to be will allow you to create a plan. Then the third one, production. Now, production, this is partly a function of how big your business is, but even if you have a bigger business doing, 50, 80, 100K a month, it'll still be interesting for you. So production, level 1. I am painting on my own and sometimes I have a helper or two. Level 2, I have a crew or two that I work with and I still paint a significant amount. Level 3, I have a couple crews and I only paint on really difficult jobs or if someone's sick. Level 4, I haven't painted in weeks or months. I am only on site to train. And then level 5, I haven't been on the tools in years. I haven't been on site in months. So again, kind of a function of business size, but you might have a big business, where you have 5 or 10 crews and you still get pulled back on site, on the difficult jobs or if someone's sick, right? So in that case, you would be a level 3, even if you have a big business. On the flip side, you could have, 2 crews and each one has a crew lead and you haven't been on the tools in years or on site in months. And there, in that case, you'd have a smaller business, but be a level 5. Next one is financial literacy. So financial literacy, level 1, I'm pretty sure I'm profitable in my jobs. I don't do any financial tracking, right? You know what? Because I have this all written out. Because I have the ability to share my screen on this streaming thing, I am going to do that. So let me just share it here. Great. And then if anyone wants to watch on Spotify video or on YouTube, you'll at least have a little bit of a visual. So financial literacy. I'm pretty sure I'm profitable on my jobs. I don't do any financial tracking. Level 2, I do some financial tracking. I know my approximate profitability percentages and how much I spend on paint and labor. Number 3, I use several tracking spreadsheets, including job costing, and I know my monthly overhead, break-even point, and profit margin. Number 4, I have a bookkeeper who sends me monthly P&Ls as well as fully costs every single job down to the penny. And then level 5, I know my contribution margin, average job size, break-even, and profit per painter like the back of my hand. Again, not necessarily a function of business size, but just how well your financial assets and organization is. And I mean, it's not quite as clear on things like on something like financial literacy, because you might be a level 4 in some things, but a level 3 in others, or a level 2 in some things, and a level 4 in others. So just be honest and pick which one you feel is best represents your abilities and systems in your business. Next one, time management. So number 1, I run around like a chicken with my head cut off. I have no systems for time management. Number 2, I use a paper calendar to write down my tasks and to-do lists. I am way too busy all the time. Level 3, I have a digital calendar that I keep mostly up to date. I understand block scheduling and even use it sometimes. I have some time freedom and can pick and choose what I do in my business. Level 4, I have a digital calendar that runs my life. Block scheduling is second nature. And then level 5, I know exactly what tasks net me the most revenue and how much time I spend on them. So for time management, this is partly what you're doing in a day, but partly how organized are you with your time? Are you able to spend 2 hours on a deep work project, or do you get interrupted all the time? Do you just have systems around managing your time, or are you mostly reactive? Right? CEOs and owners of big businesses live most of their lives in the proactive area where they're able to work on proactive tasks. Whereas small business owners and self-employed people are reactive, right? Phone rings, I answer it. Client needs me, I go. Employee needs me, I fix their problem. So can we be are we proactive or reactive is essentially what's that saying? And again, it can be the lines can be kind of blurred a little bit. So pick what best represents where you are in your business. Then we have business systems and processes. So here are the 5 levels. Number 1, I know my business needs systems, but I don't know where to start. Level 2, I have a few business systems written down somewhere. Level 3, I have at least 10 systems and processes documented. My team knows the important ones. Level 4, essentially every repeatable task in my business is documented and available when needed. My team knows the processes and follows them consistently. And then level 5, my systems are dialed. My business is basically as systemized as McDonald's. Everything is a process from painting and production to recruiting and marketing. And then finally, the 7th and last category, leadership and delegation. Level 1, I'm the only person I trust in my company. Level 2, I have a couple other staff who I trust with a lot, but not everything. Level 3, my team is pretty solid. They handle most aspects of the business. I still handle the hard stuff. Level 4, I have a team of rock stars. I understand the difference between delegation and dumping, and I know how to transfer skills to my team. And then level 5, I'm essentially removed from the business and could take a 3-week holiday and nobody would notice. Right? Dream situation there. So basically in leadership and delegation, again, it isn't necessarily a function of how big your business is. You might be doing a lot of revenue, but you could have 20 helpers, you plus 20 helpers. And that doesn't mean a painter helper, but that means if every single person in the business reports to you, that is you and a ton of helpers. So do you have a leader? Do you have someone managing other people? Do you have great employees who actually get things done and take on responsibility? And the one I went through the questions, but I didn't discuss it, was business systems and processes. So, everywhere from I know my business needs systems all the way to my systems are dialed like McDonald's, right? Scaling a business requires systems, right? You can't, bootstrap, old Western gunsling your way to multiple millions of dollars. Like you can probably get to $1 million or $1.5 million without really having dialed in systems. But as soon as you want to scale well beyond that, you need to have this figured out. You need to have really great systems for marketing, production, sales, recruiting. You need to have new employee handbooks and onboarding procedures and training manuals and all of that. Of course, you don't need that stuff if you're just getting started, if it's just you and a few painters, but that is something that, if it is a weak spot in your business, if it's a blind spot, you need to start thinking about early and potentially addressing. So I know I went through it all here today on the pod talking about it, but I would encourage you to check this out. We just launched this quiz, this business assessment tool. It's not even really launched. It's kind of just soft launched, meaning we just kind of finished building it and we're still tweaking it. So you might still find some issues, some errors, some problems. And if you do, please let me know because it is new, but I just thought I would share this with my podcast listeners first before I did any other sort of actual announcement. And if you do find any issues, just email me directly, mike@paintergrowth.com, and I'll make sure to get those fixed. And basically, what I want you to do is just go through this, answer the 7 questions with as much honesty in your business as possible. You'll get a nice downloadable report. You'll be able to see exactly what your weaknesses are, what the recommendations are, how to improve at those things. And I think it'll just be really helpful for you as we go into 2024 to identify what your weaknesses are and where you really need to be spending your time, effort, and money to improve, which skills as we go, so that you're just not working as hard as you can, but you're working intelligently. You're working with a plan. You're working on your weaknesses so that the business has as good of a chance as possible. So that's it for today. A nice quick one. I hope that you guys have a wonderful Christmas. This is actually going out on December 22nd. So we have the weekend, then we have Christmas. Next week, the podcast schedule will be a little bit lighter. I'm going to be doing another short episode for Christmas Day, and then I think we will have a guest episode on Wednesday, and we'll see what we can do for the podcast schedule over the next couple of weeks. The holidays is also always a little bit weird, but I thank you for listening. Thank you guys for being part of this, and you have a happy holiday. Merry Christmas.
Thanks for listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. If you want to grow your painting business, go to www.paintergrowth.com or click on the top link in the description. Talk soon.